take a trip with me to a Ninjago hotel and maybe go thrifting too? I started by packing 5 different outfits that I can wear on the trip because the trip is going to be 5 days. And then I'm also bringing my old school backpack, but I'm just going to put some like keychains on it to make it slightly more cute. I just put like my iPad and some other small things I thought I would need during the day, so I wouldn't have to go through my suitcase. And then I'm also bringing my Kai flashlight keychain. I just think this would be really iconic to wear around the park. Then we left for the trip and we stayed at a random hotel for that day. And we also stopped at a random thrift store, but there wasn't really anything good. It was just all kind of random clothes that I would never want. They had a bunch of like really weird looking button-up shirts, and they had matching shorts to go with them, which I just thought was really funny. There was this one shirt I almost bought, which was this Hollister striped shirt. I ended up not buying anything at that thrift store, but the next day we went to Legoland. So this was the outfit I wore to Legoland. This is the footage of us finally arriving at Legoland. We arrived there like an hour early, so we couldn't get in for like an hour. So we kind of just had to wait outside. And I kind of just looked around and took pictures of random stuff. This is the entrance to the hotel, which is where we're going to be staying for the night. And they had this statue of Nia, which I just really liked, and I had to take a picture in front of it. They let us into a little part of Legoland before it actually opened, so we kind of just walked around there, and I took some videos because I thought it was super cute. And in the big gift shop, they had 2 statues of Lloyd, so I just took 2 pictures of me with both statues since the main park wasn't open yet. And then after that, I got to meet the I Heart Legoland mascot. And they had this giant statue of the Fortnite Loot Llama. I thought this dragon-themed restaurant looked really cool, but it wasn't open. But it still looked really cool. And here I finally arrived at the Ninjago part of the theme park. They had this booth where you could win these giant Ninjago plushies, but I tried to do it and I failed, so I didn't end up getting one. They had this ninja kitchen, which had a sign with Nia on it. And Nia's my favorite ninja, so that was really cool. And then there's this statue of Sensei Wu with some... There was this statue of Kai and Zane cooking food, which I thought was cool. And then this is the main part of the Ninjago Land. I believe they have this at like every Ninjago Land, which is the main Ninjago ride. And also they had this like section where you could walk around. There were little activities for kids, but they had these statues of each of the ninja, besides Lloyd and Zane, because there are other places in the park. The Nia statue was really cool because it was her in her samurai mech, and the chest of the samurai mech glowed. And then after that, I went into the Ninjago themed ride. They had some signs explaining all of the ninjas' different powers. And there wasn't that many people at the park, so the line was completely empty. In this ride, you have to wear these 3D glasses because it's like a 3D movie and you're themed at the screen. After you get off the ride, it leads to the gift shop, and I thought this was really cool. They had all 3 of the Ninjago comic books. And the thing that was really cool is they had a whole section just dedicated to Lloyd. They had some other random ninja themed merch. They also kind of had a section for Jay, and it kind of had a section for Ryu. But they had a whole shelf just dedicated to Kai merch, which I thought was really cool. Then we went back outside. I finally found the Lloyd statue, and then also I took a video of this little diner area. There was this friend nature-themed walk, which we went on. It was kind of cool. There was statues of different Friends characters, which I don't really know that much about. I'm more of a Ninjago fan, if you couldn't tell. I thought this was cool. There was a Duplo section in the park that was dedicated to Peppa Pig. And then we kept walking and we ended up in the castle part of the park. They had a little small spot to get some snacks, some cool statues to go with that part, and then there was some this dragon themed ride which I thought was cool, and I went on that ride. After we finished going through the castle part of the park, we walked into City, which had this cool looking movie theater area. Then we went into Pirate Land. I'm kind of forgetting to record a lot of stuff, but you kind of get the point. It's just a bunch of different statues based on different themed areas. So they had a bunch of different pirate themed statues. I went on 2 of the pirate rides, but I only got footage of me going on one of them. Then we went on this ski lift, which had some cool pirate themed graphics on it, and also it went over this mini Lego city, which I'll show you later on in the video when I actually walk around it. The ski lift takes you back up to the beginning of the park, so I just took a video of the whole park kind of from the top view, so you can kind of see the pirate land, the castles and stuff from high up. I went back into Ninjago Land, and this is when I bought my Ninjago merch, which I'll show you later on when I show all the things I bought. And now you can see the city from far away. Those are the ski lifts we rode up, but you can see the little city, and the city's really cool in person. The city's actually really big. There's so many different pieces that make up each building. The buildings were like way taller than me, and it's really cool just to see all of this in person and how many bricks it makes to make each of the different buildings. This was honestly so cool. I expected me not to really enjoy this at all, but I thought it was really cool. The only thing I enjoyed more than this was the Ninjago themed areas. Okay. The thing is that I didn't really notice until I walked around this is that this Lego City part of the park is like half of Legoland, New York. Like half of the Legoland is just a bunch of builds of different places, which I think is really cool. And I only thought it was New York City, but it just kept on being more and more places. I don't know if there's other Legolands with something similar to this, or if this is just a New York thing, because I thought it was because of the New York City, but maybe they have this in other places too. There was a reference to Chima, which I thought was cool because I love Chima. And then we ended up back in the pirate themed part of the park. We got some dinner at the pirate themed restaurant, so I just got some chicken fingers, and they had this pirate statue which was really cool. By the time we finished dinner, it was 4 and the park was closing, which kind of sounds weird. I don't know why the park closed at 4, but I guess it did. After that, we went up to the hotel, which we got the Ninjago Hotel room, so we're going up to the Ninjago Hotel room. So we got in the elevator.
Oh, here it comes.
And as you can see, the elevator is like disco themed. And then once we got out of the elevator, we were greeted by Sensei Wu. And there's a whole floor dedicated to Ninjago, so the whole hallways are just Ninjago themed. Yeah. And this is the hotel room inside. There's pictures of all the ninjas on the walls. There's 2 different bunk beds. And there's a note that says that Nia cleaned our room, which I think is funny. There was a TV for the kids with the bunk beds, a bucket full of Legos, a little scavenger hunt piece of paper. That's where you fill out the scavenger hunt. And then there's the bathroom, which is also Ninjago themed. It has a picture of Zane and Nia and Sensei Wu's hat, which I thought was really cool. And then this is the main part of the room, which was really cool. There's this giant shrine above the bed with the final battle weapons, which I think was really cool. They lit up, which was also really cool. There's like a scorpion on the wall, pictures of Sensei Wu, pictures of like all the ninja are scattered throughout the room. This is Zane's Falcon, which I thought was cool. That there's a brick-built version of Zane's Falcon. There's some shurikens on the wall, and there was Kai behind this chair. I just thought it was fun to look for all the different ninjas around the room. There was this treasure hunt where you had to count different things around the rooms, and if you filled it out and you put the code into this safe, you could open it, and there would be a little Lego set for you. Legoland haul. First thing I got is a car plushie. This Legoland ride postcard. I got the Legoland ride set. The Garmadon comic book. And this Legoland New York t-shirt. After that, I started building the Legoland Ninjago exclusive set, which is based on the Ninjago ride I rode in this video. This is what the Ninjago Legoland set looks like. There's a bunch of small builds that make up this temple with a roller coaster inside it. There's 4 minifigures. I don't believe any of them are exclusive or have exclusive prints, but this Lloyd hoodie is cute. And the Lego employee minifigure might be exclusive just to Legoland sets, which I guess is cool if you want one a Legoland minifigure. There are no prints in this set, so everything is a sticker you have to put on, which is kind of annoying. But the thing is, the stickers are also really cool and kind of nostalgic. There's a giant sticker with the skeleton army, which is really cool because there's a sticker with Samakai. And Samakai is like a really expensive minifigure, and then you also have like a Hypnobrai sticker you have to put on it, part of the set. Also, like the old Ninjago mask is really cool on to see on the ride. You have the original 4 elements, and you shoot those elements at old Ninjago villains. So it's really cool that it has some of the oldest Ninjago villains on the set, because they're in the ride and you shoot at them in the ride. So it's cool that you can shoot if you wanted after you're on the ride, you could get a photo of yourself riding the ride. So it's cool that the minifigures have photos of them riding the ride. Just a lot of the Ninjago theming of this set is really cool. That it still kind of looks like a theme park, which I really like. It also reminds me of a lot of old Ninjago small like temple side builds and stuff, which is kind of nostalgic to rebuild something like that. But overall, I don't think this set is necessary for everyone. Most people would probably rather buy like a Kai plushie, but also this is just really cool to have since it's like exclusive to Legoland. I've been wanting this set for a while since it's based on old Ninjago. Then after that we went back to the main lobby and they had this restaurant buffet thing. It was really expensive. I would not recommend going, but they had statues and stuff of different Lego guys and just random food you could choose. So there was some cool statues, so I guess it was cool to see them, but the food was not worth it. Then I just walked around the lobby for a while. They had this build of Kai's original dragon on the ceiling, and this castle-themed playground for kids to play at. There was a wall full of minifigures, and you had to look for these villain characters that were wanted. If you found all the minifigures, you would get a prize, which I looked for all the minifigures, and that's what these photos are. I took these photos so I could show them the minifigures, and then they gave me a special prize after I showed them the photos. Then after that, I went up back to my Ninjago themed hotel room. I put all my minifigures up out near the TV and I watched the Ninjago movie. All the Lego movies were free to watch in the hotel room. I filmed a small little TikTok just because I thought it'd be funny.
Whoever said the room doesn't matter when you're on vacation lied, okay? When I tell you, I look forward to the rooms when I travel because that's where the real fun is at, okay? Like, look at this view. Look at this view. Little hot tub, relaxing little area. Also, have upstairs. This is literally the pathway to heaven. When I tell you, this hotel, oh my God.
Then after that, we went to bed, and I got up really early, and we left to go pick up my brother at his college. There was a bunch of different small little stores, and I saw some kropis. There's some blind boxes, and just different blind boxes and stuff. I only got one thing from all the stores I walked through, which was this Goku figure. I really wanted to buy a Karopi, but I just thought the prices were way too expensive. The one in the back I already owned. The one in the green was $50, and it's not that big. And then the other smaller classic Karopi one I believe was $20. I really wanted to buy a Karopi, but I just thought they were way too expensive. Later on in the day, we went to this art museum that was on my brother's campus. There was a lot of different stuff that were cool. This, I believe they made a Lego set of some point. But there were just so many different art pieces. This one I thought was so cool. There were just so many. Those ones looked really realistic. And I just didn't really get that much footage of stuff, but it was really cool to see all this different stuff. And there was this giant samurai armor, which I thought was really cool. This part is really random, but I feel like I own these pieces of art in Animal Crossing. Like, they just remind me of Animal Crossing. Like, I know they added that, like, whole art museum part in Animal Crossing, but I feel like I remember seeing these in Animal Crossing. I thought these statues were really cool. There was this very interesting table. I really thought this was cool. It was a blanket made out of a bunch of different faded denims. Then after that, I went to Barnes & Noble to look in the K-pop section. Sorry for not showing the Barnes & Noble sign. I'm really bad at vlogging. This is my first vlog But it turns out this Barnes & Noble doesn't have a K-pop section, which I was really confused about. I didn't get any video footage in the Barnes & Noble because I thought that would be weird. But I was so confused. There was like no physical media at all. This was just a bookstore. The only thing I got was Boruto Blue Vortex Volume 5. I've been really enjoying Boruto. It's very similar to Dragon Ball Z, but it's just like Dragon Ball Z in the Naruto universe. I know that sounds weird, but it's like, but in Dragon Ball, they can sense each other's power levels, and in Boruto, they can sense each other's chakras. It's basically just the auras around the characters. They can sense each other's aura levels and how cool they are. Which is kind of cringe, but who cares? It's just a comic book. The next day we went to a random Target. I had to check to see if they had the K-pop album I wanted, but they didn't. But I went through the clearance section, they had this Monchichi keychain. Since when has Target ever sold Monchichis? This keychain was literally only $5. And then we drove home and I was greeted by my Karopi collection in my room. I hope you liked this vlog. I know it wasn't the best. I've never vlogged before. Thank you for watching.